Ladies and gentlemen, we also have the very valuable presence of Mr. Sanjay Aggarwal, CTO and Head, Tech Sales, Hitachi Vantara, India, and SARC region. I request sir to kindly join us on the days and talk about responsibility framework for data and AI. Ladies and gentlemen, sir brings with him over 30 years of industry experience, even more than that. He leads a team of solution consultants and technical experts in India to help customers focus on solutions and initiatives around digital transformation. His interest areas include analytics, IoT, content platform, public safety solutions, enterprise storage, and server solution. So we welcome you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Kocher, for giving me this opportunity. Before I start the framework, let me share some of the background and some of the stuff that's driving it. Today, we are in the digital era, and when we talk about digital transformation, enterprises, corporates are focusing a lot on, exceptional customer experience for their customers, improving operations and automations of processes, and also new business models that can redefine the business and their go-to-market strategy. They are using digital technologies to drive this. When we look at digital technologies, things like AI and data are at its core. That's why every corporate is trying to become AI-enabled and data-driven. And if you look at all of these initiatives, AI and data are playing a lot of role in that. However, we have also heard of things like AI is not giving the right results. AI is not giving meaningful output. We have also heard of hallucinations. Thank you. False predictions, negative responses, inconsistent outputs. If you look at all of these, it actually points towards something that is in the data. We're also talking about things like biases, transparency, explainability. The core of all of these problems lies in the data. If the AI is not getting right data, the outcome will not be meaningful. AI and data go hand in hand. AI is not good, AI is not useful if the data is not good. And if AI is not there, data cannot be monetized. To ensure that we get best out of AI, we need a right culture, a right foundation, and a responsible framework for data operations in the organization. With that objective in mind, we collectively have focused on creating a framework. It's a high level, of course, we can deep dive and have many more pillars into it. But the idea here is that the framework should cover the entire life cycle of the data that corporates today have. It starts with data onboarding and all the way goes to the monetization and governance. I know time is a constraint, so I won't be getting into each of these, but some of the things that will be of interest, I'll share that. First pillar is data management. Now, while we talk about data management, where we talk about a lot of technologies that come into it, data architectures for the business operations, life cycle management, how do you recover if there is a data loss, and how do you recover when there is a disaster, and of course the master data and metadata management. But why are we trying to do this? Why are we focusing on data management? One of the top reasons under CDR is sustainability. IT part contributes a lot when it comes to sustainability. And data infrastructure is on the top, and the size of the data is playing a role there. When we talk about data management, we say, corporates, please ensure that your data is managed, it's efficient. You don't have duplicate data, you don't have redundant data, you don't have data that you don't need it, because all of these put together contribute to the IT infrastructure, and that eventually leads to GHG emissions and things like that. Data quality, very important. When we are talking about data quality from a data perspective, we are talking about right data, complete data, consistent data, and things like that. The moment we shift gear and say, what is its relevance from AI perspective? We are talking about, do we have right samples, right type of data, enough data that contributes to the right decision making and things like that. So that's where this pillar of data quality and integration comes into the picture. You need to have the right data sources identified, right data extracts to be done, right data transformation to be done, so that it's meaningful and it's contributing to the right decision making. And AI, if that is used for the data, gets right sample, right size, right type, and ensures avoidance of biases and things like that. Analytics, very important. After all of these things are done, then data is used to analyze, the things, the behavior. So it could be as small as data discovery, searches, and it could be big as well, like deep learning, machine learning. If you look at all of these things, data again plays an important role. You create AI models, you train the model, you tune the model. All of this is important from a data analytics perspective, otherwise outcomes will not be there. So you have to have right data formats, you have to have right data architecture. Data architecture, when I'm talking about, it's like whether you should have data lake, data mesh, and things like that. And dark data assessment is also very important. You may have meaningless data in terms of not being visible, not having the visibility, but still holding the data. Do the assessment and see if you can derive some value out of it. Governance plays a very important role. Somebody was asking me, what is the difference between data governance and data compliance? In one sentence, I can say, you govern the data to be compliant, and compliance could be many things, including DPDP. So data governance is nothing but setting up a lot of policies within the organization and defining the standards that people should follow, and it could be related to anything. It could be data quality, it could be related to risk management, it could be related to how data will be used, how data will be stored, and what are we going to do with data or its life cycle. So those kind of things come into the picture. You put together a framework, you put together a policy document, and ensure that these documents are enhanced over a period of time so that you are updated, policies are latest, and governance leads to data compliance that you are trying to establish. For India, for example, DPDP, and outside you have heard of GDPR and things like that. Again, when it comes to compliance, we have to have regular audits and ensure that there are no gaps in that. Data security, a lot of people talked about it. Security is at different levels. It could be endpoint security, where typically the attacks happen from. Network security, identity and access management, encryption, data masking are some of the technologies that are being used. Ransomware is the biggest threat today. And I was doing a CIO workshop, and there was a sort of raise hand type survey, which is the biggest threat today when it comes to security in the digital space. And 80% of them said that it's a ransomware attack that's creating a problem for them. Regular monitoring, of course, very important. If you think you have done 10 things and these 10 things are good enough and you have reached nirvana stage, no. You have to keep doing a lot of things, monitoring of the compliance, threat detection and response. Honeypot, for example, a lot of discussion happening around that. Can we have as many honeypots deployed, fake assets, so that, attackers are, arrested there, or we can identify those before they attack the actual ones. And you should have the incident response plan. Now, all of these will not be possible if there is no focused data organization. That this culture has to come, this thing has to come from top, like CEO level responsibility in terms of building up data culture, guidance, direction, and things like that. There should be a governance team, and data governance team is a big team, and it has a lot of people in it. In fact, chief digital officer, chief data officers are also the positions that are very important to contribute to it. And then you can slowly form other teams that ensure that we are not only complying as per the compliance and regulatory policies, but ensuring that we contribute to the business. Data culture is very important, and I'm sure you have heard of things like cloud-first policy at many organizations. Data-first policy should also be there. What it means is that if organization decides to make a decision, it should be based on data. If there is no data, then it needs to be revisited. Data, the leadership should provide the vision. Data literacy should be there at every level. How the data should be, created, consumed, maintained, and who all should have access to the data, and how should we have the data collaboration and data sharing across the enterprise so that we don't reinvent the things. One of the examples that corporates are focusing a lot on is a concept of data product. I can take an example to simplify it. If you have a bank has multiple functions, current accounts and corporate accounts, then you have loans, you have trading, you have fixed deposits, and every function creates a product known as Customer 360. Now you end up having 10 Customer 360 products within the organization with different and inconsistent data. Using one Customer 360 across the organization, making it available to the entire organization, is something that is something that corporates are focusing on to ensure there is a consistency and there is a minimum amount of work being done to recreate at every level. And of course, it ends with data-driven decision making. All of these contribute to the framework that is taking us towards the AI framework. And why are we creating Data Foundation at the first place? Because it not only ensures the right governance in place, but it also ensures that there is a business acceleration and people shift focus from data operations to data innovation. Now, with all of that done, when we come to AI framework, we are confident that we would have right outcome. I know time is not there, but I can pick up a couple of things here that will be of interest to you. Fairness and non-discrimination, for example, is an area that almost every corporate is focusing on, and we must ensure so that AI outcomes go in that direction. Transparency and explainability. When we build AI, we must be very transparent how the models are built, what are the assumptions, what are the processes, and how we have reached to that particular flow that we have identified in the system. That is transparency. If you don't expose it, you don't make it transparent, it's not going to survive from a long-term perspective. Explainability. This is another one area that most of the CIOs are focusing on, but we need to do a lot of work in that space. Any outcome, any result that's thrown out by AI system, we should be able to explain that, how we reach that, and why that particular outcome is correct. Otherwise, it will not be right, it will not be trustworthy, and people will lose faith on that. And then, of course, accountability, liability, environmental sustainability is another important area. I'm not able to recall the figures, but if you look at things like ChatGPT, every query that you fire on ChatGPT, you don't know how much resources and it consumes and data it accesses. But trust me, it's contributing to a lot of huge greenhouse gas emissions. We should also have some responsibility towards that, towards usage of that, and things like that. That's it from my side. I thought I'll try and make it at high level, but if there's anything detailed, we can have a discussion. Thank you.